Welcome back to Horn Takes, the best Texas football and baseball talk destination on the web. This is Day Drinking with my special lady friend, where day drinking and Texas sports are what we do. She's my special lady friend. Make sure to follow her at his lady friend on X. I am Sean Redfern. Make sure you follow me at Sean_Redfern. And you can obviously follow the Horn Takes podcast at Horn Takes. Welcome to the show, babe. What are we sipping on this fine Sunday evening?
Well, I started with mimosas, so I'm going to end with mimosas.
You got mimosas, huh? I'm back on this this ultra. It's been an ultra weekend, baseball weekend. Really excited about that. We got a baseball series. The Longhorns game with Houston Tuesday night got canceled, I believe, due to rain. I think a big blast of rain came through right at opening pitch time. I think they'd already pushed the game back a little bit anyway. But anyway, they ended up canceling that one. So Schloss's home opener as the Texas Longhorn head coach pushed back till Friday. Dartmouth comes to town, and Texas gets the sweep. What do you think about that sweep? Scores 4-3, 3-2, and 4-1. What do you think about that Texas offense? I think they left the offense in Arlington.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, a win's a win, but I mean, I feel like they struggled scoring some runs.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you if you're a win's a win person or a you got to do better type of person. I think you're both.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think with football, you're. Go ahead.
I want to see domination.
That's right. I know in football you want to see
them.
domination. Yeah, you get upset when we don't win by 50 in football. But I think baseball a little different game, obviously. In baseball, I'm gonna get the wins. I mean, I think 4-3, 3-2, 4-1, not all that impressive probably for an opening, weekend series. But here's the thing: Texas A&M lost today to Cal Poly, who's a garbage team. LSU lost to Omaha, which I didn't even know Omaha was a school. They lost to Omaha over the weekend as well. So, I mean, we could be sitting here talking about how Texas dropped a game to Dartmouth. Dartmouth was 13-26 or something like that last season. So obviously not a great baseball team. But they came in and battled. I think, also the thing you got to think about when you're talking baseball, especially early in the season, we're in February. I mean, the weather is not great some weekends, and the weather down in Austin was certainly not great this weekend. The Friday and the Saturday game, really dreary, really cold. I mean, those folks look cold. We watched the game Friday night after we got back from T-Mam, and then we went out yesterday for National Margarita Day, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But we watched the game on the phone on the bar top, and man, the people just look cold. Are you if it's not your son, are you a cold baseball person at all, or are you just out on that? Like it's not happening?
Yeah, it's probably not happening. It was a struggle to watch my son play when the weather was like that. So I don't know. I've done it in football though. I mean, I guess I owe it to the baseball. I got to do it for that too. But man, it's not fun. And
yeah, cold sucks, and
those baseball games are long sometimes. So
yeah, the baseball games are long, and they're not. I don't know. There's like a difference between baseball. There's a difference between viewing baseball and a difference between viewing football. I think, football's like tons of action constantly. There's always something happening. And baseball is just more of a slower, sort of, I don't know. It's more of a mental game, I think, than football overall. But yeah, it can get kind of boring, honestly, sitting there. I like it. I mean, I don't mind sitting there watching a low scoring baseball game as long as the play's good. Generally the pitching's good when that happens, but yeah, I was talking to the guys on the bullpen, which by the way, we'll have the bullpen tomorrow night, Monday night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll have Mark from Occupy Left Field and Zach with me as usual from orangebloods.com, Zach Sim. I was talking to them last week and we were talking about how there's just not cold like baseball cold. Like a baseball cold game is the worst cold imaginable because generally
Yeah.
this time of year the wind is blowing, and you just can't get warm. Like you can, like I remember some of those high school games we went to where it was really cold. It would take like an hour after being home to like thaw
Yeah.
out so to speak. So yeah, really rough weather. Obviously, when the weather is like that, it's hard to grip the ball if you're a pitcher. It's hard to hit the ball if you're a hitter. Like everything hurts. Like in the cold, everything hurts to catch, to hit, to like everything. It sucks. It's really
Yeah.
like terrible weather. And then today, the sun came out, so that was nice at Dish Falk Field. I was beginning to think we're gonna watch baseball in like Eastern Europe for the rest of our spring, or just look crappy. So yeah, Texas baseball sweeps. I mean, I think you got to be happy about that. I wrote an article about it on seconfiltered.com. Take the W. You know, the guys say take the L. Just take the L, man. You're making excuses. Your team lost. Just take the L. Take the W. Just win the games. Be happy that you won the games early in the season. I mean, we're talking new coach, new players, new coaching staff. It's cold. It's windy. There's just a lot of stuff going on with this Texas baseball team. So they got the sweep over Dartmouth, and maybe Dartmouth doesn't end up being a bad team. Who knows? Oregon State, like the 8th ranked team in the country this year, I think they've lost 2 games already this weekend to unranked teams. So you just kind of never know with preseason baseball. Let's shift gears a little bit. National Margarita Day was yesterday, and if you listen to this show at all, day drink, or you follow me on Twitter, you follow his special lady friend on Twitter, you're gonna see a lot of margaritas. We love margaritas. So we had plans. We went out and did our normal team am on Friday night, and we said, man, what are we doing Saturday? Our place had $6 Milagro margaritas, which are the ones we drink. Tell everybody about these Milagro margaritas, these $6 ones.
Well, we should have known it was too good to be true because we get the big schooner fishbowl margaritas like here for, at our restaurant. And yeah, the Happy National Margarita Day margaritas were $6, but they weren't the same size. These
Yeah, it said
small,
12 ounce. And for
yeah,
those that don't
little.
know, like I think schooners are like a Lubbock thing. I've never seen, I don't think I've ever seen anywhere but Lubbock. Like beer comes in schooners here, margaritas come in schooners here, and they're like these. I don't know how to explain it. It's like she said
It's like a
fishbowl. That's
fishbowl.
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like a big, a big bowl on top of a stem, real heavy glass, but they're pretty good size. Like if you get a schooner of beer, I mean, I'm thinking you're in the 16 to 20 ounce range for your beer, and so with a margarita, they're throwing ice in there and all that stuff. So you don't quite get probably 20 ounces of liquid. But we were excited. We were like, let's go do this. So we show up, and then there's actually 2 of these restaurants here in town, and there's one right by the house. We normally go to the one way on the other side of town, but we order our first one, and it comes in a tiny ass little cup, and it says on the thing 12 ounces, right? I'm like, there is no fucking way
That wasn't 12 ounces.
that is
It was
12.
maybe
And
8.
then they pounded it with ice. I mean, it was like pounded with ice. So yeah, I mean, we did our margs. I think you had 2, right?
I had 2. Yeah.
You had 2. I think I had 3, maybe 4. They put too much mix in them. It started burning my mouth all up, man. It's just like these Milagro margaritas are like Milagro, tequila, Contro, and just like a splash of their mix. And I mean, it's like clear. It looks like a Sprite, and it's really refreshing, really good. But these were not. These were green.
As you can see in the picture. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to her X, you'll see a picture of it. I mean, it's like green, because it's just too much mix. Oddly, they were strong, but yeah, just I don't know. I was really disappointed. I thought we were going to get treated better than that, and it just didn't happen. And that's the way it goes. I mean,
well, we kept seeing beer getting served, so we switched to beer. Yeah.
I was making fun of everybody for drinking beer on National Margarita Day, and then we switched like pretty quickly over to ultras, and I don't know. We drank like 20 cases of Ultra. We ended up staying a lot longer than we wanted to. Here's what we do.
Yeah.
We go, we sit down, we start drinking. We're watching the baseball game. The baseball game's over. And then some other stuff starts coming, like a bunch of basketball games are on. And then a DJ shows up and starts playing all
The
this cool
DJ.
music. And then people start
Yeah.
showing up and it turns into like a dance club in this one half of the restaurant. And,
Yeah. It was a
some people
vibe.
move in and sit next
Yeah.
to us. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. Some people sat
Yeah.
this woman came in with her friend and they asked if the seat next to me was taken or the two seats next to me at the bar were taken. One of them was for sure. And I was like, you know what? I've been sitting all day. I'll just stand up over here at the edge of the bar. So they sat down and they turned ball fans. They're watching on her phone. So that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, I don't know. I love margaritas. Not sure I'm a big fan of National Margarita Day.
Yeah. Everybody ran those specials to try to get you in there, and everybody
Right.
probably had the little mini margaritas. Hey, we're gonna give you this for, a discounted price, and then give you less of it. So I'm sure that was
Yeah,
everywhere. But
we
we had
definitely
a
got
good time
conned.
though. Yeah, but we
It
had a
was a
good
good
time.
time. We stayed way too late.
Well, that dang DJ. Ugh. That was fun.
Yeah, I
But
think the DJ was I mean, it was kind of crazy, man. It turned into like this guy had light bars. He wasn't just your normal DJ. He set up like a music table and then he had all these light bars on stands and it was pretty nuts. Pretty cool moment of the night, I thought though. Besides, just the general night, I turned around at one point just looking at
oh
the
yeah.
room and well, actually, let me back up. There was before I even realized that this person was there. I went to go to the bathroom and I'm in Lubbock, Texas, and I am decked out from head to toe in Texas gear. I got a Texas baseball hat on. I got a Texas baseball like pullover thing. I mean, I'm Texas, and everybody in there is wearing their Texas Tech stuff because there was a big basketball game.
Yeah.
Uh, so so I expect to get jawed at. I'm going to the bathroom and I kind of come around this corner and I hear somebody go, "Fuck Texas," and I just threw my horns up, and just kept walking. I didn't even say anything. I didn't even see who said it. And so I go to the bathroom. I come out, standing at the bar, and this guy comes up and he's like, "Hey man, I was the one that said that." He goes, "I was just, I'm just messing with you or whatever." And I'm like, "It's fine. I'm used to it." And then at his table, Big Cam Warren, a really good Texas Tech baseball player from back in like the 20, I think like the 2018, 2017. He was a first baseman there, and he was on the team for sure. One of the years they went to the College World Series, maybe both the years they went to the College World Series recently. So that was kind of cool. And I don't bother people like that, but as soon as we tabbed out and everything, and they're right behind us. So, I turned around and I said, Cam Warren. And he looks up and if you don't know who Cam Warren is, he's this big dude and he's always smiling. That's one thing I remember about him, even from his time playing baseball. He's always smiling. And he gets this big smile, and looks at me and I just, tip my cap to him and threw up my horns. And he like kind of did like that. And then he threw his guns up or whatever. So that's cool. To me, that's like, I don't want to go ask a guy like that for his autograph or something, even if he was, Cam Warren, I don't think he's playing baseball anymore. I think he's living around here in Lubbock. But even if he was ultra famous, I'm probably not asking for his autograph. To me, it's the story
Yeah.
behind all that stuff that kind of makes it cool. So yeah, that was kind of fun. You run into some people in Lubbock, Texas, every once in a while that you want to say you met or ran into. So that's kind of cool. What was the best part about Margarita Day yesterday for you?
The DJ, obviously.
The
That
DJ.
give me music and drinks, and I'm set. I mean, that was a whole vibe. However, they planned that right. Even though they conned us on the margaritas, they made up for it with entertainment. It was a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, they definitely conned us on the margaritas, but we did it to ourselves. We
Mm.
we knew that was gonna happen. We should have known that. I mean, I'm naive, folks. I was like, man, $6 Milagro, because these things are the ones we generally get. I think they're like $13 or $13.50 or
Mhm.
somewhere right around in there is the ones we get when we go to dinner. And so I'm like $6, man. That's freaking good. That's a good deal.
Mhm.
Yeah, it wasn't. But that's okay. Live and learn. I mean, we'll always go on National Margarita Day, I'm
Oh,
sure, at
yeah.
this point. We'll just know we'll go have one just to say we did it, and then we'll switch over to beers or something. Like we watch Texas basketball, and we don't talk about Texas basketball much on this show because, man, I'm just not a basketball guy.
Yeah.
I like to watch like the Final Four and, or not the Final Four, but like March Madness. That's fun because of the upsets and, the finality of it. You lose, you're out type of deal. But I don't know a ton about basketball, and I don't know. It's just not my sport, man. And I tried to cover it like the first 2 years I did this podcast, and I just didn't enjoy it. So I stopped doing it. And now we're Texas football and baseball only, and that's it. And I'll throw a shout out every once in a while to the girls, the softball girls, who, by the way, are kicking ass. The basketball girls kicking ass. They're probably going to be ranked number one in the country. This coming up poll tomorrow, I believe, is when the polls come out. But we're sitting there watching Texas basketball, just getting the absolute shit kicked out of them by South Carolina. And babe, South Carolina has not won an SEC game all season, and they just absolutely beat the shit out of Texas. So I don't know.
Well well, is Kentucky good? That Kentucky basketball
Kentucky's
team?
not bad, and which is odd because Texas beat Kentucky.
Right. So I remember seeing
And
something on Facebook about that. So, like, how do you do
yeah, I
that?
don't
And
know.
then
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know.
any given day, I think, obviously, I think the problem with Texas is they're just not consistent. Like you never know what you're going to get. Like they may come out one game. I mean, they beat Texas A&M,
Mm.
who's a top 8 team right now. I think, they're definitely in the top 10, pretty decent basketball team. They beat them, and then they beat Kentucky, and they've played close games with other teams. But like, I don't know. I don't know how you go from. I don't know how you go from beating a team like that. Let's say you're talking about Kentucky, you're talking about A&M, and competing. I think I don't follow it that close, but I feel like they played Tennessee pretty close one time this year, and Tennessee's a really good basketball team, supposedly. I mean, again, I don't know. They're highly ranked. I don't know how you do that and then just get your ass stomped by a team that
Yeah.
has not won a game, like has not won an SEC game. And the crazy thing I saw on Twitter the other day, Texas basketball has trailed by 20 points or more in like all but one of their SEC games this year. So
Mm.
they get behind by a lot, and then a lot of times they'll come back. That's what they did against Texas A&M to win that one. They were down 22 at half, I believe. 18. I think they were down 18 at half, and then 22 like early in the second half. Yeah, Rodney Terry, the head coach at Texas basketball, man. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be the head coach next year. I don't think this team will make the tournament. I don't know. Anyway, that's our Texas basketball for the day. We're not going to talk about it anymore because I don't even know what
Yeah.
else to say. It was just bad. We
I
were just sitting there like you're kind of embarrassed. You're like going, what in the hell is going on? Even though I don't care.
yeah.
I was just kind of
Like,
waiting
I
for
can't
somebody from
stand
Tech. Yeah.
to watch basketball, so it's always
Yeah. I
hard
just
to
don't.
watch
I mean,
it.
it's just not
I'm
it's
sorry.
not a fun watch for me. I like the dunks. I like the acrobatic stuff they do sometimes. But generally speaking, I just don't know what I'm watching, so I just don't care that much. But Tech has a pretty decent basketball team, and so I was kind of waiting. I was kind of waiting for someone to come up to me and say something stupid about
Oh, I
Texas
know.
basketball sucking.
Yeah.
But we were talking about this the other day, though. Like the chatter has kind of quieted down from a Tech
Mhm.
perspective. Like I don't know if it's because we left the Big 12 or if it's because of the success that the teams have had the last couple of years
Yeah.
for Texas. But we just don't hear a lot of chatter anymore.
Mhm.
Or maybe every single person in Lubbock at this point has come up to me and said something about the shirt I'm wearing, and they're just like, "I'm not doing that anymore." But yeah, the chatter factor just not there. I mean, I think that guy last night was like the first person I remember in months saying
Well,
anything to me about.
and the fact that he came up and, like, apologized, which really wasn't necessary, but, it was respectful, but that never happens either, you know?
Yeah, generally,
But
they
yeah,
run their mouths
yeah,
and move on. I know you work with a lot of tech people, obviously,
I
and you get beat
do.
up pretty bad. She
Yeah, I
wears
do.
her she wears her Texas what is it called? Your head cover
Scrub
thing.
a scrub cap.
Yeah, scrub cap all the time, and she gets beat up about it, right?
Yeah. There we had a picture one time. I don't remember what it was. Probably basketball. And I took a picture with two people wearing their tech caps, and I had my Texas cap on, and guess who lost that game?
Who
Texas.
lost? Yeah.
Tech. So,
It's the way it
yeah.
goes.
Yep.
Tell. This is a funny story. I don't think a lot of people probably know. So we moved to Lubbock in 2016. 2016. No,
Mhm.
2015.
Oh yeah, 2015. Yep.
Like right around this time, 2015.
Mhm.
We moved to Lubbock, and she gets a job at one of the hospitals here, and
Oh gosh.
tell them about the orientation that you had in
So I
2015, folks. 2015.
yeah, I mean, I got a job at was it the University Medical Center uh for Texas Tech, I guess you could say. And we were sitting there waiting for the orientation to start, and this was March. So it wasn't even during football season. It was March of 2015, and they were showing the highlights from the game. Was it 2009 or what
2008.
year was it? 2008.
2008.
2008, where they upset us and they won that game. And they were
Yeah, the
showing
Crabtree
the
catch.
highlights
Yeah,
as I'm
the
sitting there.
Crabtree catch. There's a mural of it in the airport in Lubbock.
Yeah.
That
I
when
mean,
we come back from trips, we get to see that every time. And then, yes, folks, 7 years after that happened, almost seven
I
years after that happened,
yeah,
they're
at a
playing a
hospital
video at a
orientation.
hospital orientation.
Yeah.
That's Tech
Oh
fans. I
god.
mean, I don't know. I don't know how many of you have really been around Tech fans. And by the way, I love people from Lubbock. The people in Lubbock are some of the nicest people
Yes.
I've ever been around. Very nice
Unless
people. Very
unless you're a Longhorn fan.
unless you're a Longhorn or you get in that stadium wearing the wrong
Yeah.
clothes. If you're wearing the wrong
Yep.
color at Jones Stadium or anywhere on that campus, man, they're pretty rough. I mean, they
Mhm.
turn. I've had some pretty interesting sort of like engagements with Tech people at that stadium and around Lubbock, obviously, but generally they're more toned down. They're a little more toned down. Not if it's not a game, but you go to a game wearing the wrong color, and man, they're pretty ruthless. So, but yeah, that's Tech people, man. They have clung to 2008 and that Crabtree catch, and man, it's like, I mean, that's their highlight. That is like the
Yeah.
biggest thing that football program has ever done. And I mean, honestly, it kind of really is if you think about it. Like that's, again, I don't want to besmirch Texas Tech folks and the program and all of that, but that's kind of like your highlights are like ruining other people's years.
I know.
You've never actually done anything yourself except ruin
Yeah.
other people's years. And
Yep.
so, I mean,
They are
congratulations, I guess, but
yeah, they're known for that. If they ain't gonna
oh
win
man,
it, they sure are gonna make sure you don't.
yeah. And I mean, I guess there's merit in that, and I think they've again, we know a lot of Tech fans. Like we hang out with people that are like diehard Tech fans, and I think they've kind of embraced that a little bit. Like that's part of their
Mhm.
ethos, so to speak. Is like we're gonna ruin your season, dude. We're gonna ruin
Mhm.
somebody's season this
Mhm.
season, and that'll make us happy. That's kind of like their thing. So anyway, Las Vegas Classic coming up. You getting excited for that?
I am. Matter of fact, when I'm done with this podcast, I'm gonna go try to pack a little, try to figure
That's
out what
right.
I'm
We're
gonna
gonna do a
wear.
fashion show.
This time of year is really hard to pack for anywhere, I feel like when you travel. So uh
Yeah, so we've been
don't know
following
how
the weather.
yeah.
We've been following the weather, and it's been pretty decent, and it just keeps getting a little bit better every time I look at it. I think we're looking at Friday 77, Saturday 75, maybe, and then like Sunday 70 for the high. And obviously,
Yeah.
that high will be 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the evening. And the lows are only in the 50s, which is pretty decent. Although that will be really cool. So And again, in the desert, when the sun goes down, it's going to get cool really fast, same way it does here in Lubbock. But I
Yeah.
am, and I don't know if it's usually like that or not. I have no idea what the weather is in Vegas almost ever, except summertime is really hot. But I feel like that's a good draw. Like it's going to be sunny for the
Yeah.
most part. There's like some partly cloudiness, but nothing. It's not going to be dreary. So I feel like for February, March,
Yeah.
we won. We won on weather unless something changes. So I'm excited. But you're right. It is hard to pack for. We were just talking about that today. Like it's kind of going to be one of those deals where you have to take a little bit of everything and just kind of
Mhm.
figure out how you adapt to what and what makes sense.
Yeah. You gotta pack layers, which means you can't do minimal packing on that one. So that kind of stinks. But yeah, I just don't want to be cold. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I think so hopefully we won't be cold. We'll get there. The weather will be great. We won't be cold. The to me, like we're talking about those Red Raiders. That's the game for me. Like that game against the Red Raiders on
Mhm.
Saturday. Excited about that. I love watching Texas and Texas Tech play baseball because they absolutely freaking hate each other. And I mean, it's like they get in a fight or just the chatter is really chippy like every single time
Oh,
those two
and
teams play.
I feel like this year might be bad because they aren't in the same, like,
Yeah, this is it.
conference
They're going to play
anymore?
one
Yeah.
time probably this year. I
So,
mean,
I mean, this is big.
yeah, it's gonna be chippy for sure. I was watching a little bit of the Tech baseball game today after our game ended, and I mean they lost to UC, or they're having a rough go of it. They're 1-5, I think, this year already. So they've won one game that was yesterday against UC Irvine. They dropped the series to UC Irvine. I didn't recognize a ton of names on that team as they were going through the lineup, and even a lot of the. While I was watching, I think they brought 5 pitchers in while I was watching. I didn't recognize a single name
Mm.
on that squad. So I wonder what I'm getting at is I wonder if is the hate because it's the other school, or is the hate because I know these guys and I've played these guys so much over the last few years and I just hate
Mm,
them because of that. I wonder
maybe. Mm.
I wonder if like, we're looking 10 years down the road and Texas Tech and Texas end up playing in baseball. Is the hate going to be there? I think it's going to carry over for a while just because of the whole Chris Beard thing. I mean, that
Oh,
was that was a mess.
yeah.
When Texas went to play basketball in Lubbock, someone asked me if I was going to that, and I immediately answered, "Hell no, I'm not going to that. Like, I'm not stupid. I'm either going to end up getting beat up by
Yep.
a bunch of dudes or going to jail because I beat up a bunch of dudes. Like, neither one of those sounds like all that fun to me. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I hope it's good spirited, but I hope it's like a rivalry type thing. I mean, I want to see some chippiness. I want to see some want to from both teams. I think that'll be fun to watch because I mean we don't really have a big history with Washington. We don't have a big history with Illinois. I mean they don't have
Yeah.
a history of baseball at all. So, um,
Well,
what are your thoughts on that? What do you are you
well,
kind of
you
pumped
know,
for
I
that?
well, what I just thought of something, like, the things that I love to see at a baseball game is, like, the chatter of the dugouts, and you
Mhm.
don't really get to see that on TV. They don't really you don't see that on the television, so I'm excited to see that live. Like, we're gonna be there for that, and we get to see kind of that banter back and forth because that's always fun to
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
and
With the mics they put on the field now, you can kind of hear it. Depending on which broadcast, you can hear that it's happening. You can't
uh-huh.
always like for that Tech game today that I was watching. You could hear a lot of chatter out of the dugouts, but you couldn't really tell what they're saying, and
Yeah.
you obviously don't get the context because you're not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the funnest things for us going to these high school games when our son was playing high school football or high school baseball was just listening to the boys and like what they'll
Yes.
say. It's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
The yeah, sometimes you're like, "Oh, wow," but other times it's pretty funny, but yeah.
Yeah, a funny story. when our son was freshman, I say our kids all the time. You're gonna hear me if I'm talking about the boys, and I say the boys too. I only have one son. We only have one son, but we
and
played baseball
one
with the
daughter.
same group of boys. Yeah, one daughter, one son. We played baseball with this kind of tight knit group of 3 or 4 boys. All through, I don't know, like 12 to when they got to high school. So 2 or 3 years, they played a lot of baseball together. So I say that's the boys, or our boys, whatever. Uh, all of them make all of them make the baseball team in high school when they try out. And I remember going to the first thing, and they're out there. They just got done warming up. They're in their huddle. The coaches aren't with them. They're in their little huddle, and they're gonna go come into the dugout. And all of a sudden you hear one of them count down 3, and they say, "Beat that ass." So and like all the parents just kind of, I mean, it was like
We
crystal
all go
clear. Yeah, like what?
looking at each other like,
And,
did
and
we
so
just hear that?
yeah, did that just happen? So it's kind of funny. You know, they started growing up. They started becoming little
Yeah.
asshole baseball players.
It's funny because the coaches I mean, they knew what they were going to do, but they walk away. You can't control what they're going to say. The coaches
Yeah,
can't
they got
participate.
deniability.
So they
Yeah, they
walk
got
away.
deniability if they're not there.
Yay.
Yeah, I didn't know they were going to do that.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
funny.
so that was pretty funny. But yeah, I think the banner will be fun, and we have seats like right behind the plate. So I think we're first row. We're like the first row, right behind the plate, which in retrospect sounds kind of cool. But I wonder, I've never sat that low at a baseball game before. I don't think. I wonder. I wonder if it's going to be good sight lines. That'll be. We'll shoot some video. We'll shoot some video of all that. We'll try to do like a kind of like a traveling roadshow YouTube video or something of the whole weekend. Why are you laughing at me?
Just the word traveling roadshow. We're going to be a traveling
It,
roadshow.
it's the traveling roadshow. I've been doing the traveling roadshow for like 2 years now.
Oh, okay.
You're part of it now,
Okay.
so I don't know
Now
why
I
you're
am.
laughing.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever. Notorious ball buster, my special lady friend. So yeah, we'll do that. That'll be cool. We still might get credentials, media credentials. So that would be kind of cool too if we could do that. Do some interviews
So,
with the players, coaches.
so how does that work with me? I'm like your assistant. Like I carry all your
No,
stuff.
we've actually put in for both of us to have media credentials. We'll just have to see how that goes. We're
Oh, that's
media
funny.
folks, and we need credentials to go. We're going to report on this. We're going to report on what goes down in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Classic with the Texas Longhorns. So, anyway, make sure you're following the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click the little bell, man, and every time we put a new video up or every time I go live, you'll get notified, and you can jump in and enjoy the show. So make sure you're doing all those things. Um, we talked a little bit last time about what we were going to do in Vegas besides baseball, and in typical us fashion, I still don't think we have anything planned, or even any thoughts. Like I don't even think we've gone, hey, maybe we could do this.
I don't know. I feel like you have it planned pretty good. I mean, we have two
I
shows
do.
and
Yeah, we got
dinner.
2
I think
shows. We got a dinner.
it's just the day time, but I mean, we'll be fine.
We'll
We'll
be at
probably need to
baseball.
sleep. Yeah,
Oh,
or
we will
and
not
not.
need to sleep. We're not staying up late. I can guarantee you that. I think you said the other day one of the shows is at 10 o'clock.
Is it
She's like, oh my
10:30?
God,
Oh,
that's really late. I don't even know if I can do that. That's
I
how
don't
old we
think
are
I
now. We
can
were in
do
bed
that.
last night at like 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Oh,
We left the restaurant at 8, I think, and we were in bed at 9. That's day drinking,
yeah.
baby. That's what we do.
I know. We're pros.
We're pro day drinkers now. It's man, if you are one of the people that stays up all night long drinking and partying, man, you have not found freedom until you have learned the day drink. To learn the art of the day drink, you can be asleep by like 8 o'clock and then get up the next
Yeah,
day and do it all over again. I
and
highly
feel good.
recommend it. Yeah, and feel good.
Feel, feel good. Yeah, like I mean, we drank a lot yesterday, and I
Yeah,
felt a
and
little bit of it this morning, but overall, It was-
overall good to go. Yeah.
Mhm.
Day drinking is where it's at. So so yeah, we're gonna fly out on Friday, come back pretty late Monday,
Yeah.
just because of the way the flights and the time zone changes are and all that stuff. But yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing some good baseball. I like to watch some live baseball, and I'm really excited to get down to the dish. I was watching the games this weekend, and man, yeah. Besides the cold ones, like today when the sun came out, it really kind of hit me
Yeah.
when I was watching. I was like, man, I'm ready
Friday
to get
night.
down there.
Was it no, both Friday and Saturday. I was like, "Ooh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
kinda glad. I'm kinda glad I'm not there."
Yeah, I would not want to be there. So anyway, that's it for tonight's episode of Day Drinking. We got to go to bed. It's almost, what is it? It's 5:30. We got to start getting
Oh,
ready to
dang.
go to bed. So
Yeah.
we got to wrap up our day drinking, but make sure you're checking us out Monday night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We do From the Bullpen with Mark, Zach, and myself. And that's the show. Those guys are with me until they get tired of me. We're going to be the trio doing the show all about Texas baseball. And then on Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, I do a live stream called From the Cheap Seats. We talk all about Texas football. And when football season gets closer, once baseball season's over, we start leading up into football season. We'll do a lot more weekly, daily type content for Texas football. I got to find some guys that want to jump on and talk some football. I think Mark I think is game to talk football, and I think he's got season tickets. But I think Zach is like a baseball dude, like just straight out baseball dude. So hey, if you want to talk sports, you want to talk Texas football, send me your resume. horntakespodcast@gmail.com. And we'll see what goes on. We'll see how it goes. Make sure you follow us on all the socials. We appreciate it. You guys, thanks for everybody for watching this episode. Thanks for everybody that watches and subscribes and follows and all that good stuff. Special lady friend, thank you for being on the show. You guys get hooked. Hook 'em.